Hotel family, this your brother Matthew Daniels, aka Ampu, aka The Chosen Few, aka The Real Bookworm. I'm not a bookworm, I'm the real bookworm. Make sure you get it right. And y'all saw the title of this one, and y'all see the individual that's sitting in front of the camera is Mr. Wayne Hobgood himself. So I have a very, very special and a very informative and a very powerful interview lined up for you guys. But before I get into my questions, I'm gonna let him take some time to introduce himself, say a little bit about himself and how he feels, and we're gonna get this interview started. So if you don't mind, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
How you doing? My name is Wayne Hobgood, better known as Douglas Wayne Hobgood. I am from La Marque. I live here in La Marque. I am La Marque. You know, I come here today to answer these questions. I'm excited to be interviewed by the Bookworm. Don't forget it. You know, don't quit it. It's the Bookworm. So I'm excited. I'm flattered to even be here and speak on behalf of what's going on here in this great city of La Marque.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. Okay, brother. The first question that I have for you is, can you tell us a little bit about your family history and how they came to this area that we now know as La Marque, Texas, to plant their roots?
Right. My family came here in 1867. They founded the area. The first black settlers in the area way before it was La Marque, way back before it was Buttermilk Junction. After slavery ended in 1865, the Hobgood family itself was working for the Butler Ranch, and the Bell Brittons and Caldwells are also used to be slaves at the Butler Ranch right up the street here in Lake City. Came to this area and began to sell and buy land, which is in the historical district. And so from that point we began to settle. We had schools here, businesses, all that. As you notice, La Marque was also established in 1867. And so it's a great honor to be not only a citizen of La Marque, but a genealogy of La Marque. So that's that.
Wow, wow. A direct descendant of one of the founding families of this area that we now know as La Marque. I'm curious, brother, and the people are curious. How old were you when you found out that your ancestors helped found this area? Or was it something that was always talked about inside of your household? Was it something that you always knew? Or was it at one particular age when you had an aha moment and you found out what your family name actually meant in this area?
Well, actually, my grandmother, my dad's mom, she used to always tell us stories about my family when I was growing up. But as a kid, you didn't really pay attention to those things. I wasn't necessarily raised by my dad's side, by the Hobgood side of the family. My mother's an Allens here. Her mom was Ella Mae Cartwright, and they came and moved in here from Navasota about 60 years ago. You know, God rest her soul. It wasn't until about 2015 that I went to a celebration and I linked up with some family members out there and began to learn the great history and really understand the significance of my name here in this area. And as the more I started to learn, the more interested I became. And now I currently sit as Vice President of the African American Historic Preservation Committee right here in the Historical District in West Texas City. There's a museum on Bell Drive, and it's a great history. You should come out and check that out.
Okay, that's powerful. I know me personally, from the outside looking in, I've read the history of the settlement. And I read about how on September 9th, 1953, Texas City annexed the land that was once known as the settlement. So I'm curious, from someone who is actually in the family, in the bloodline of some of the founders, can you give us any kind of inside information on how your family viewed that annexation of their ancestors' land?
Well, currently, and that's absolutely correct. West Texas City was once La Marque, and it was annexed over to Texas City, and now they call it West Texas City. As far as my views on how my family particularly feels about that, I'm really not that knowledgeable. I haven't really spoken with many people about that, or the elders. A lot of them have passed away, and so but in our hearts and mind, I believe that it's still considered La Marque. You know, when we are over there in the historical district, all the way from Highway 3 all the way past Volchek, we all the way up to what's that 45 area, all that area over there, it is it's very significant. You got to think about it. Right there where the Woodland Heritage, the Lincoln Auditorium, and all that area was that land was set aside by the Bell family in order for them to have a school there. They did a land swap with the city for their area that's over here in off La Marque area. You know, Nashby Petroleum, in that area. Land swap for acreage over there that's now where Lincoln Auditorium sits in that land. And so they did a land swap in order to build a school there during the time of segregation. And so that's when they started to build. That land over there was given for educational purposes for African Americans, and so that's very significant.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I appreciate that history, you know, and I'm sure the viewers appreciate that history, so thank you for that. So I want to take the conversation into a slightly different direction now. I want to take us from the past and bring us on up to the present. Everybody sees that shirt that you have on, that I Am La Marque shirt. And anybody from this area, if you haven't heard of I Am La Marque, I guarantee you'll be hearing of it pretty soon. But a lot of individuals are still unclear on what I Am La Marque is and what it represents. Is it an organization? Is it a group? Does it have a board? Is there a president, vice president? Can you explain to us what I Am La Marque is and how it came to be a thing?
Okay. I Am La Marque was actually started right after Hurricane Harvey in 2017. By Tarina Johnson. Basically, there was Santa Fe Strong. All these T-shirts have been made up for the different communities that were affected by the storm, but nobody was really doing anything for La Marque for that particular time. And this young lady actually created the I Am La Marque name and started doing things for people in the community. She reached out to help. Now, how I came involved in the I Am La Marque is from recent activities that has been taking place here in our community. When I saw the name I Am La Marque, I just saw God all in it. All right, because what is God's name? When Moses saw God at the burning bush, he said, "I am that I am." When Moses asked him, "Who should I tell the people sent me?" so they know that I was sent to deliver them. And God said, "I am that I am." And so when I look at I Am La Marque, I am seeing Yahweh La Marque. I am seeing God all in this, okay? Because this region belongs to the Lord. And I believe that we have the spirit to get out here and take back the land that was promised to our forefathers. Not in the sense of taking it back as an ownership or owning the land, but taking back the region to restore it, not to make it great again, but to make it better than it's ever been. Okay, so the organization that from the African American Historic Preservation Community perspective is that we're not just here to celebrate history, but to create history. I Am La Marque is not an organization. I Am La Marque is not a group. It's not a clique. What I Am La Marque is, it is citizens of La Marque stating that, hey, I am from here, I live in this region, and I'm concerned about my well-being and my fellow neighbors and brothers and sisters in this area. It's not where you're from, it's where you at. You know, and so if you are in La Marque and your residence is in La Marque, you are La Marque arts also. Our thing is to get out, educate, empower, and get the people wanting to be tentative to the governmental processes in this city. We know that they have the great elections all the time. We always look at the presidents as the leaders of the country, that one man gonna get up and make a change. when in all actuality, the true people that we should be looking at when it's time to elect are the city officials, our senators, our House of Representatives. These are the people that go in and actually really truly make change. Okay, these are the people that go in and represent our community. So we got to be sure that when we put these people in office, that they are the people that represent our points and our views. And so now it's about this right here. It's about time for accountability. It's about time for you. It's told us all these wonderful things to sit in that seat. Now that you win the crown, do what you said you're going to do. All right? Not only do what you said that you were going to do, but make sure that there's a process to show us how you're going to do it, and then let us have checks and balances along the way. Because election time come up again, we get a whole bunch of false promises. But it's up to the people to know what's going on in city government. It's up to the people to go get involved in your city council to make sure that you, guess what, the squeaky wheel get the oil. All right? And so the thing about it is that if you got some issues in your community, don't sit around and complain about your streets jacked up, but at the city council meeting you ain't show up. Don't be complaining about how your water ain't working, but you ain't been at the city council meeting to talk about it. Don't be complaining about what's going on with your school districts, and you ain't at the school board meetings. Don't be complaining about how things are so bad for you, why your water bill so high, if you didn't go to the city council meetings and see what they're doing with your tax dollars. Don't be sitting back complaining thinking that's just the way it is. Because if you notice that the people that are in city council, they go to these meetings, they get up and speak, their neighborhoods, they got nice streets, their water's working right, and guess what? It's time for us as a people, and I'm just going to say it. I Am La Marque is inclusive on all people and all citizens. But we have to understand that 37% of this community are African Americans. And guess what? And then that's not even including the Hispanic community and the other minorities. We need to just quit accepting things and go ahead and be a proactive instead of reactive. Let's go ahead and learn what's going on. See what we can do to make the proper change. Guess what? There are laws in place that we can go and we are the change. We don't have to wait on nobody to go do it. We can do it ourselves. All right. Sometimes you just got to get up, man and woman up. Go down, get the proper information, and guess what? Go ahead and make that information that you have, put it to work, and let it be practical. We can have a lot of things in this community if we unify with one another across the board. We can put the right people in the seats if we unify with one another across the board. The city council seats are coming up available right here in May. Guess what? Learn who's running. Learn what they're about. How many times have you seen them? Have you seen them in your community? Are they talking to you? Are you concerned about what they are wanting to do when they sit there? Where are they? Have you shook their hand? Have they come in? Do you even know their names or what they stand for? It's not about party, Democrat or Republican, because to me a Democrat and a Republican are two wings of the same bird. All right? Two wings of the same bird. It's about the individual and what they stand for. Okay, and you shouldn't have to pick a side. It ain't no Crip blood fight out there, and that's what it seemed like, blue or red. It's like, man, it's gang violence in the I mean, what's the deal? You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing about it is get informed, know what's going on, get active in your community. I think that you deserve it, your children deserve it, and your neighbors deserve it.
Man, and I want to say this real quick. I know you're not blowing smoke. Because I'm the type of individual, I like to keep my ear to the street and my eyes on the people. And lately, I've been seeing a lot. There's a couple of videos floating around on social media right now where I seen a group of individuals in I Am La Marque shirts. I don't even know what street it was, but I saw them marching. I saw them chanting. I saw him talking about accountability, a word that I just heard you say right here. And I know it's some of the viewers who saw some of those same clips. So if you don't mind, I'm sure you know which march I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain to us what that march was about? And are there any more marches that's on the horizon to come?
That particular march right there was on February the 29th, leap year. It was orchestrated by myself, Geraldine Sam, and the Johnson family, Mervyn Tarina Johnson. One of the things that we came together for was because of the discrimination that was taking place at the La Marque Fire Department with a young lady there named Ashley. That was, and you have to have been at the city council meeting to know the true and full details on all that. There also was a neighbor dispute with the Johnson family that also led to a incident where the police department was beginning to harass this particular family. And if I'm not mistaken, they may still be getting harassed by the La Marque Police Department. Guess what? These people are here to protect and serve. There's accountability even on the police department. There's accountability all the way to the city manager and mayor. These things should be discussed. And it's not to be us against them. It's that we are all people and we are all citizens here. And what can we do to eliminate these things for the future? You got to understand there's a lot going on. The other day, a couple months ago, there was a young lady in Dallas. They were doing a welfare check at her house. They came in unannounced. She is at her back window. She don't know who's coming up. She turned around and grabbed her gun, as any law-abiding gun owner would do to protect their home. Police officer saw that, shot and killed her. Then turn around now, then they start rallying as a reactive, and doing marches and rallies as a reactive way to handle what took place. Well, my mindset is this right here. No, we're not going to be reactive. We're not going to march and preach and talk after somebody dies. Let's be proactive. Let's do it now while they're still alive. Let's put an end to these things, okay? Because we can come together and have a civilized understanding on how to handle and treat people. It's all about human decency. I don't care if you black, white, Hispanic, whatever race you are. I don't care what your sexuality is. I don't care what your economic status is. I think that you are an individual, you are a human, and I think that you have your human rights. And I think that each person needs to be respected with their human rights. Right now, we got the corona thing going on. Guess what? You start to see people that on all those different things that divide us, we all have this common enemy, this corona deal or whatever. Or if a hurricane comes, if there's something that some tragedy that comes to make you realize, hey, you know what? We all human, we all want the same things. We all want what's best for us. We want our families to be safe. How come we can't do these things on a regular basis? Why aren't these perspectives and these insights brought out on a normal day when there's nothing going on? Now, once all the pandemic go away or the storm goes away and we get things back to normal, then we turn right back around and start being mad at each other about our differences. Our differences is what makes us great. That's what makes America great. We could be different and then still coexist. That's what can make the great city of La Marque great. We could be different and coexist. We could be different and we all still want the same things. I Am La Marque is speaking out on the several things, and I Am La Marque is a representation of what the citizens of this great city needs and wants. We want great schools for our kids. We want proper running water. We want our streets done right and nice. We want to be able to have thriving businesses here. We want all communities to have the same access to the city funds as the new communities that are being built. There's old communities here that need work, that need help, that need infrastructure. If you go to city council meeting, you'll see that they're talking about building the $15 or $13.5 million Metroplex police station. But guess what? Where's that money gonna come from? Where that $15 million gonna come from? Okay, and then that's gonna come out your tax dollars. Your water bill gonna go up. Something gonna go up. But at the same token, you look over in Texas City. Now this right here is, I'm gonna tell you what, Brother Daniels. Let's just keep it real.
Yeah, keep it all the way 100. Keep it all the way 100.
I'm happy for the kids, but I'm kind of ticked off about this too. All right, Texas City put away $1 million fund so that all kids that are residents that apply in the that has a Texas City address can go to the college remaining tuition free.
I saw that. I
Okay,
saw that.
check this out. But that's city funds that they did that with. Now, our school districts are annexed over to Texas City, so we send our tax dollars over to Texas City. We pay school tax to Texas City. Okay, so, and then we turn around over here, we can have kids that live in West Texas City to go to La Marque. We can have kids that live in La Marque that go to La Marque High. But the kids that live in La Marque can't apply to go to college for free. They all went to the same high school, but the kids are right across the street in West Texas City, which was old La Marque, can go to college of the mainland for free. But we talking about building a $15 million police station. Now look, my thing is that why not come up with a bill where we can, I don't mind my taxes going up if I can see the money to build up for the community. If I'd rather invest in people than invest in a place to house the criminals. Guess what? There's no programs for these kids. There's nothing for them to do after school. There's nothing here for them. Texas City got a great plan. They're going to equip their kids. Everybody now 4-year college ready. Their great plan is that they're going to get these kids vocationally ready, that they can work out here at these refineries. They can work right here close. Guess what? They'll probably end up buying a home in the area and keeping Texas City a thriving community. The city of La Marque, why can't we do something similar to that? Why can't we build up our kids? Why can't we come up with a plan to have programs that can have these kids with something to do when they get out of school? Why not come up with a tax fund so that we can pay for our kids' tuition, so that they can go and get built up, get a vocation. They can go and get at least a prerequisite so they can go to another college and get their 4-year degree and whatever to and continuing education. We want these same things for our children. How come we can't sit down and look at a plan like that? But yet we are sitting down, they're talking about building a police station to house criminals. Guess what? You're going to have more criminals in La Marque because there is nothing to do. Nothing to do but get in trouble. So if you're not investing in your people, what are we doing in the city of La Marque? My people, I'm telling you like this right here. This is not just for the black community. This is for all community. This is for La Marque. Now we need to do something like this and make sure that we go out here to the city council meetings, talk to these people who are running, and guess what? This is what we want as a city. Now, I'm even going to make it a step further. Somehow down the way, I've heard that it's never been done before, but our school has been annexed over to Texas City. La Marque no longer has an ISD. I remember in the heyday of La Marque, everybody that's from La Marque understand this in the 90s. All the way back, I'm gonna even say this, 86, 87, when we had Coach Hugh Massey and La Marque Cougars was playing Plano in the state championship, and we had a great academic and athletic program. A lot of money was coming to La Marque because every year we was going to the state. We were going to the state championships. We was kicking, but whether it was 5A or 4A, we were in there doing it. Etheridge Stadium was full. It was crazy. There was every time that we would go to play a playoff game, La Marque was in the house. We had Cougar paws everywhere. That's like non-existent now. I went to Etheridge Stadium the other day, during the football season. I almost was in tears looking at that stadium and that field. It's a sham. Now we got Texas City over here. They got a big, wonderful, wonderful stadium. What about our kids? What about right here? And I know that the school district has been annexed over to Texas City, so they are taking control of our funds and issuing out according to however they may feel. Shout out to Nikisha Paul, because I believe that she's doing a great job over there. Thank you, Nikisha Paul, no doubt about it. But there has to be a will. They always say, if there's a will, there's a way. I want to look into how we can get our school districts back. How can we do that? I don't know. I don't have the answers. Even if we got to go to Austin and figure out this thing, I'm down. I'm ready to ride. We want to get our stuff back. We want our kids to have a great legacy as we did. La Marque is not only full of athletes, there are a lot of academics here, but there is no programs in this community to expose our children to what their academic gifts may be. We have to be able to expose them to these things, and there are great teachers out there. Shout out to Chuck Holmes. He's a great teacher. He's doing a lot of things with these kids out here, and he's from La Marque. There's a lot of people, a lot of kids out here that love these children. You look over here. You go over and you look where the old junior high used to be. There's a bunch of trailers out there. Well, now they are housing our kids in trailers and trying to teach them. But guess what? How can you learn in that type of environment? You have our kids in the trailers. Where are these schools that they're supposed to be building so that they can go ahead? I see them working on where Old Bayou Road used to be, but man, they need to push the progress, okay? We need these schools built up so these kids can get out of the trailer and so their mind can be in a proper format that they can get a true education and sit there and learn. Have you ever tried to learn, or do you even know the conditions that these kids are in while they are in school? Do you? Have you researched it? Have you been to any school board meetings and found out? Well, why? Let's get back to the first question. Why does La Marque not have an ISD anyway? So to me, that goes all the way back to city government. Who fought for us at the school board level over in Austin before we lost it all? Was our city government involved? Why did we lose it? Was there an audit done on that? Is there any investigations on that? We just take it and go with it. Sometimes we got to ask the hard questions, find out what's going on. If you were involved in in that particular systematic process, then you would have an idea of what's going on. Me personally, I don't really know what all took place, but I'm going to find out. You want to come with me? We're going to find out together. And the more we grow, the more we'll know. The more we know, the more we grow. It's on. That's why I thank the real bookworm for being here, bringing these things to light. Because I know that we're gonna get out here, we're gonna hit the streets, and we're gonna wake the people up. It's time to wake up, Lamar. Now, to get back to the question of the next march, march that we're gonna have. Yeah, we're gonna continue in the city. We're gonna continue to go. If we got to go door to door, guess what? Whatever I learn, I'm bringing to the community. Whatever I found out, we're coming to tell you. Because we want you to know and find out what's going on too. We want you to get excited and get stirred up that you may even come to the city council meeting. And don't just stay for the hot topics. Make sure you stay there throughout the whole meeting to see how these votes go. What are they voting on? So you can, when they have a public forum where you can speak on things before they vote, be there so you can talk. Be there so you can understand. It's very important. It's imperative. Because guess what? Just like this, we annexed over our La Marque over to Tech City in 1953. Now we annexed our schools to Texas City. Slowly but surely, we ain't gonna be La Marque no more. So it's time to wake up, people. It's time to wake up. Let's go, man.
Yeah, for sure. It's time to wake up. One thing that you just pointed out, how you brought up those the annexation of the school district, that brought something to my mind that I would like to ask you about. Now that the La Marque ISD has been merged with Texas City ISD, can the Texas City ISD school board be expecting to see and hear from members of the I Am La Marque movement?
Absolutely, positively, without a doubt. We will be there with bells on. We will be there, and my prayer is that we be there in numbers. The school board need to know that we are there. We are coming there in expectation. These school boards in charge of our children's education. These school board are in charge of the future of La Marque. Our children are our future. We have to be very concerned what's going on over there. I know that there is people there that really love the children, but guess what? One person or two people there on that board can't do it all. We have to come in as a community because our voice really matters. You don't know, you matter, you count. You count. Don't let your vote or your voice be suppressed by thinking you don't count, because that's just the very thing that counts. And guess what? I'm going to tell you like this right here. How did the walls of Jericho come down? There had to be a great sound. one voice couldn't do it. It was a collective voice of multitudes screaming out to, and I saw scientists say that it gave like an earthquake on the Richter scale that shook the walls, because the voices that came together were so powerful that it actually sent a vibration that began to shatter the bricks. So I'm gonna tell you like this right here. One voice, I can scream, but baby, if you come scream with me, we could bring some walls down. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's go.
I was just recently at one of those city council meetings that you were talking about. And one of the things that stood out to me is I saw two individuals, a man and a woman, who were wearing what's now becoming the iconic symbol, that I Am La Marque shirt. So although I didn't know them at the time, in my mind, I can associate them with the I Am La Marque movement. And they were speaking about continued and ongoing harassment from members of the La Marque Police Department. So I'm curious, and the people are curious, if you, as the current representative in this interview of the I Am La Marque movement, do you have any words for what we may deem to be corrupt or unfit police officers who are abusing their position and using their position to abuse and harass the citizens of La Marque?
All right, first of all, shout out to our La Marque Police Department. All right, we need the police. Not mad at the policemen, okay? But we can be upset at behaviors of some of the policemen, okay? One bad apple can spoil the whole bunch, okay? I applaud the police departments everywhere, period. We need you, police department. I respect you, and y'all do a great job for the most part. But let's keep it real. We all know that some of y'all don't do everything according to protocol. We all know that there are instances that take place that could be deemed harassment. But the problem is, who's there to police the police? Well, the people. And that's what I Am La Marque is all about. Accountability on all levels. If the people got an issue, guess what? There's ways to go about dealing with it. I believe that we have a police chief that may even be willing to sit down and communicate. I've met Mr. Jackson. Seems like a great guy, but at the same time, he's not, how can I say, there with all of his officers as they are doing their particular job. Now, the officers that are doing things that could be deemed unprofessional, we would like those officers to really think about handling their positions as being a civil servant, just as such. Okay, you are a civil servant. You're here to serve the people, not to bully the people. If you are bullying people, then now you are abusing your authority. And I think that those things should be dealt with seriously. We all talk about bullying our kids and bullying going on in the schools and how that affects our children and all these, even social media bullying. What about bullying from a person that has a gun pointed at you and you can't do nothing about it because you're in fear of your life? What about if you're being bullied by a system that can keep you in a mindset of fear? Have you ever been in a situation that you are now fearful to ever be in that situation again? And so now anything that reminds you of those situations bring a phobia to you. It's called PTSD. Okay, you brings a fear about you, and we all know that fear is an acronym, is false expectations appearing real. Okay, and the thing about it is that because I have had an expectation before that took place, now every time I see a police officer or anybody in that authority or in that limelight, I'm going to have that same fear come up. This is one of the things that I think that we can control as individuals. Let's just, like I say, common decency, common dignity. having a gun and a badge is not a license to kill, but it is a license to protect people and protect people in their homes and their environment, protect our communities, no doubt. Like I say, police officers, we need you, we love you, but just like I say, treat people with dignity and human respect.
Awesome. I have a question for you. Okay, another question, because I've already asked several. With what I Am La Marque is about, are you or any of the active members of the community that's involved with the I Am La Marque, are you afraid at all for any possible repercussions that may come from your answers? And I ask that because it sounds to me like you guys are willing to take on some of the most quote unquote powerful people in your area and demand that they do right by the citizens. So is there any level of fear behind some of the actions that you know you must take?
I'm going to put it to you like this. My God didn't give me a spirit of fear, but one of power, of love, and a sound mind. I'm going to tell you what, God couldn't use me. God don't use weak people, all right? If you ever look throughout the Old Testament and New Testament, even if fear did come to approach, there, because you have a relationship with God, the Holy Spirit know how to build you up and give you courage. No, I don't fear man. Okay, what it is that it is unacceptable on any level for any one or two people or a group of people to try to even enforce fear. But see, one of the things about it is that I know I serve a God. Man, I'm surrounded when I'm by myself. All right, that's a group of, that's a whole legion of angels around me. There's nothing that you can do that God don't allow. If you can touch me, it's because God let you. And guess what? That's how I think and that's how I feel. I'm gonna stand for the people. I'm gonna stand for what's right, and I'm gonna do what my God put on my spirit to do, without fear, without regret. And it just is what it is.
Awesome, awesome. I've heard you make several biblical references during the course of this interview. So if you could, just allow me to present a biblical quote of my own as a setup for my next question.
Okay.
Proverbs 29:18 states, "Where there is no vision, the people perish. But he that keepeth the law, happy is he." So I want to ask you, Brother Wayne Hobgood, what is your vision? I know you've talked about it, but if you could summarize it once again for the people, what is your vision for the I Am La Marque movement and the city of La Marque as a whole?
I can sum it up in one word: unity. Unity. My vision is that we all come together to win back everything that we lost in this city. My vision is that we stand side by side, hand to hand, in one mind, in one accord, to pursue making this city awesome, to pursue getting back our school districts, to pursue having programs for our children, to pursue that city government on all levels are held accountable, to pursue that there is no harassment from the police department, to pursue that there is no discrimination on any level, to pursue what all we truly desire, and that is the best for ourselves, our families, our loved ones, and our neighbors. One of the things that I know is that since you started, when you brought in a spiritual, a word from God, my whole deal is this right here. We know that a house divided cannot stand. We're not here. There's no I Am La Marque and you are someone else. There's no us against you. When you see the I Am La Marque t-shirt, we are for you. We are for you. There's no organizations in La Marque that we come to Quebec. We are not trying to reinvent the wheel. We just speaking on God over Lamar. I am Lamar. And so let's go. Let's get it. I know that if we are unified and we come together, we can really make great change and bring things back beyond its former glory right here in this great city that we all love, and that's Lamar.
Well, Brother Wayne Hobgood, I want to thank you for your time, and I want to thank you for your ability to elucidate some of these ideas that may have been abstract in the minds of some of the people who's watching on Facebook and social media and on YouTube. But I want to ask you, in wrapping up this interview, as we bring it to a close, if anybody would like to reach out to you personally or to show you support with the I Am La Marque movement, if maybe they wanted to get a shirt, if maybe they wanted to find out when the next march is, if maybe they wanted to find out when the next city council meeting is, or if they wanted to just reach out and say, hey, I support what you're doing and I like what you're doing, keep up the good work, can you please provide some type of information where somebody could get in contact with you, be it a Facebook page for I Am La Marque, your Facebook page, an email address? How can people find you if they want to support your efforts in their community?
Okay. First of all, you can contact me on my Facebook page. It's Wayne Hobgood. That's WAYNE. Hobgood. HOB as in boy. GOOD. That's my Facebook page. There is an I Am La Marque Facebook page that was created by Rena Johnson. Go out there and pull up I Am La Marque. It should come up. If you want to contact me also personally, here's my personal email address. It is mr.hobgood@gmail. That's mr.hobgood@gmail.com. Feel free, contact me. I would love to hear your views, your point of views, if you want to get involved. Yes, it's starting here in La Marque. We're going to be a voice for the city. We're going to be a voice for the people. And also, importantly, we're going to be a voice of God right here. Thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to listen to this interview. I am so excited. I'm here with the bookworm, Mr. Matthew Daniels. Man, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
No problem. And before I log off, I just want to come in the camera shot with my brother and show complete unity and complete solidarity with what this brother has going on. I feel like this is a powerful member of our community, and I hope everyone out there gains some insight into who he is and what the I Am La Marque movement is all about. And just like he said, if you want something to change, you have to get involved and change it. So is there anything else before I cut off the camera, before we end this interview, that you just want to get off your chest and say to the people, or do you feel like we touched on everything?
We pretty much touched on everything. I just want you to look out. I'm coming to your neighborhood.
Matthew Daniels, Ampu, the chosen few, aka the real bookworm. I'm not a bookworm, I'm the real bookworm. Make sure you get it right. And as always, may your name live on forever, and may your memory never die. Hotel.